So, good afternoon. Good morning if you're in the States and joining us. We are here to talk about schooling, well-being, and how it benefits everyone. And I've got a beautiful young lady with me. She says, all blushing, and I've just been coaxing her into her first live session. So, guys, be kind. My job is be cool to me, but be kind to her. But as I said, we are talking about schooling, homeschooling, and everything. I did put out a poll yesterday to question how many people have homeschooling in comparison to going to an institute. And of course, 66% were in an institute, and a whopping 13% were homeschooled. So, and that's obviously quite substantial. So this is obviously a bigger portion of our lives than we actually give credit to. So if you are joining, tuning in, dropping in your thoughts, guys, you know what to do. We want your questions. We're here for about 15 minutes. As long as I shut up, we can get on with it. So do send them over. Otherwise, hi.
Hello, so my name is Jaenette Satherlund. I am director for Bump Your Grade. We specialise in homeschooling and tutoring.
Beautiful. See, I don't even need to do the introduction. So good morning to Marielle and good afternoon. I haven't even got my glasses on. Anil Kumar. Hopefully I got that right. So yeah, obviously a specialist in homeschooling, guys. So you're not going to get anything better than this in terms of getting your advice sorted, because obviously our kids' education is one of our own worries, but also our upbringing happens through our education. That's what shapes us. So obviously, Jaenette, from your experience, obviously I'm the wellbeing specialist, you're the school specialist. So of course, together we're going to make something really sensible and value filled here. From your experience, obviously, why is it, I mean, I can say it, but obviously let's start with the simple bit. Why is education so important for our upbringing and development?
So for multiple reasons, to just become a functional citizen. So even if you're not interested in the topic, it makes you being a well-rounded being that can interact with content. And I think education today is more important than it has been before, because there's so much information out there. And to get a critical mindset, being able to evaluate what is true and what is not, because it can be quite scary to read all of these things out there and take everything for face value. I think that could be quite scary. But with a basic understanding, even if it is a topic that you're not going to delve into, I think it gives you a basic where it says, actually, maybe this is true and this is what I'm going to listen to. This is what I'm going to discard. And I think in terms of your well-being, I think it could be very, very stressful if you take everything to heart and not being able to qualify the information in front of you.
Yeah. Oh, I go with the stress. I can vouch for that as the wellbeing specialist on the screen. But the thing is, well, obviously, you're a homeschooling tutor. So you're obviously for homeschooling for secondary. Now, we've obviously had these private conversations and obviously how certain students are more suitable to homeschooling environments. Yeah. So what would you say is, obviously, I mean, other than the obvious, you're at home, get tutored at home, what sort of benefits in comparison one to the other? What would you say?
I think it's a little bit crazy to think that children are not individuals, because we've already accepted as adults we are individuals and we're treating each adult as individual. I think it's a little bit naive to think all children are born the same and they should sit in a classroom and be quiet for that hour without chatting and just take in all the information, nearly like a factory worker. And children are not like that. They're just as individuals as adults. And if
the workman back.
No, it was my cat. Stop playing. But I think it's a little bit crazy to think that all children is just suitable for this kind of format that we have created. So some students are not suitable for a classroom environment at all due to various reasons. Could be like ADHD or any any neurodiversion that is not considered as it's just a little bit different in a neurological thinking or the way they've been made. or simply they find it extremely stressful to be in a social interaction, a social environment. And why force then a child to be in an extremely stressful environment that they cannot learn or take in this information? Why force them into that environment? Do whatever best for your child. If that is homeschooling or if that is mainstream, you kind of have to make that judgment for your child and yourself.
Yeah, because it's well-being. When we look at the family network as a whole unit, that we're looking at the well-being of everybody. So it's not just your child's education; it's your, like you said, your stress. It's how they develop and grow. But then, of course, it affects things like your quality time as well.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you're talking about, say, a normal school or an institute, let's say an institute rather than a normal school, because there's no normal. There is no normal.
That's true.
So we go with an institute. So generally, say we're going to school, 9 till 3:30, okay, give or take. Okay, I know that's rough. So you're going to school at that time. After school, you might do an after-school club. You might then do your homework and things like this, and you might have some quality time. Obviously, with homeschooling, it gives you a lot more flexibility with that, so actually can improve relationships. How does homeschooling, in your experience, influence the family unit and quality time and the good stuff?
Because I think it lowers the stress massively, because you don't have these fights. You don't try to force a square peg in a round hole. It's all about, like, you don't have to fight about, you have to do this. This is what you have to do, and the child knows it's not right. You're taking away that element completely. Then I think homeschooling as well, some people have this idea that parents have to do everything with homeschooling and teach them everything, and that's just, it's not that's not just true. It's better to have someone else in there to interact with the child like a teacher do.
Yeah.
And then you are free to go to work, or you're free to do all the other things. So homeschooling doesn't mean that you are stuck at home with a child. It is just a different way of teaching, just in a different setting, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, as we're hitting the halfway, a quick hello to Sean. Hi. Good morning to you. She's US. So, guys, if you are tuning in, if you do have children and you have experiences of, say, challenges at school, or you've had anything, or even you just want to ask a teacher a question, we've got a teacher right here on screen, and we've got about another 7 minutes. So this is your chance to ask anything, even if it's completely off the subject we're talking about, because we've got the professional in the house. And if she can get your answer, she will. She's very good. Now, I'm not just being biased because she's a teacher. I can never do what you do. Okay, so let's go to. I'm going to come at it from a professional point of view. She's like, oh my god, she's getting me on the spot. Okay, because it takes a special character to be a teacher, in my opinion. And I coach and I train and I do all this, and I have full respect for you guys as teachers, because that's not a job that I'm raising my hand. I could not, never. Okay. There's probably jobs I could do less, but what would you say? Obviously, if we look at it from the teacher's point of view, what does it give for you in terms of, like, because you've worked in both an institute and homeschool, and what does it give in terms of you, in terms of obviously job satisfaction, your own development, your own life? What sort of the joys?
Well, the joys of homeschooling or teaching in general.
Whichever you want to.
I actually love both, and recently I've started my own classes because I kind of missed the classroom experience. So I kind of missed the classroom experience, and I do both now, but it's only private classes in a small group. I love teaching. In fact, I have an option of not working because I have another business as well. And within 6 months of being at home, I was bored out of my brain, and I actually went back. And I love it so much. And what I love most about it is, first of all, I love the topic. I absolutely love science, and I enjoy interacting with other people. I even help adults that try to retake their GCSE because they try to do something else. So I teach both young and teenagers, and I love that interaction, and I love seeing that light bulb in someone's face, like, I get it. Like, you, like, I love that bit. I was like, oh, that's so nice. Like, but science is fascinating, and science is my hobby. So even if I teach science, every time I teach it, I'm like, I love this topic.
You're just lighting up. You are lighting up right now. I'm getting really excited. So guys, even if you're an adult and you want to go back and do your GCSEs, do not be afraid to admit it, because education has changed so much. Anyway, I'm going to stop interrupting.
Yeah, no, like there are loads of sorry, it's my cat making an appearance.
The cat wants this camera, clearly.
I think yeah, so there are loads of adults to go back. They want to re-educate. They're long gone are the days where we only stick with one career, isn't it? Now we have multiple careers, and sometimes they help with, sometimes they need their GCSE to move forward. But yeah, what I'm going back to is science is my hobby. So even when I'm not teaching science, I enjoy reading like the latest discoveries and things like that. I'm a bit nerdy, but I don't mind to admit it. I just love science. Like,
so would you say teachers are a bit nerdy generally?
Yeah, I would say so.
The form.
Yeah, I would say so. And I think going back, linking that to back to homeschooling is really important. That if you decide to do homeschooling and you need a teacher, any teacher at all, you need someone that you really get on with, and their style of teaching and their personality and all of that. Like, if you want someone who is teaching in a specific way, have a specific personality trait, go for that person. If you want someone who's interactive and have a completely different style, it's really important that you get that kind of chemistry from that person before you commit to it. There's so many different style of teaching and personalities and so on.
I would say the one big advantage of homeschooling is that personal selection of working with the right people.
Yeah.
So you can sort of choose, and you can get the people, because obviously, generally speaking, do you do online, or do you visit clients at their houses, or?
It depends on where they're located. So I wouldn't travel to Wales. For those who are in the US, Wales is very, very far away. It would be impossible. But then I have a few who live in the area, and I'm happy to pop around and hold lessons there. So it really depends on where they are.
Yeah. But that gives you much more, like, I'll say, dynamic role. So one as a teacher, that can be quite exciting, because not only do you get rewarding career. I can get I need English lessons. Do you see, do English? Damn, just science. Right. So obviously you get the rewarding career because you get to help the development, but also you've got the flexibility in your job. But for the family, they can get it to fit their lifestyle as well. So obviously, which can really balance up a busy career and things like this as well.
Totally. I mean, I can just take an example of a girl that homeschooled prior. Her body clock just didn't fit with an institute. She didn't wake up until 11, 12 o'clock. There is no way you got any good work out of her. They decided to pull her out mainstream school and homeschooling, starting at 11, 12. And she works really, really hard. Her body clock just didn't allow the huge difference in her and her ability is incredible. So you have that, adapting to the child's need rather than the child need to fit into a specific schedule.
Beautiful. I'm just like, that's kind of like, we've run out of time. I was like going, what's next? And I was like, I can't really, because I keep going over. Guys, if you are listening, whether it's a replay or not, obviously I highly recommend you connect with Jaenette. And follow Bump Your Grade. That was the other bit. See, I'm really not on my English lessons today. Obviously, she is a very experienced teacher. She obviously runs her own business. So not only is it whether you need support for your child, whether you've got children and you're just looking for tips and bits of advice. The other thing I'm going to throw in here is they're on their TikTok. So on Bump Your Grade, if you follow the company page and look out for that, she will be slamming in the TikTok link, I am sure. Now I've just given a poke. Because there is going to be loads of little bits of advice going on there. So whether it's for you or whether it's your children or even a family member, somebody else, there is loads of help there and loads of added value. So whether it is a case of you're not interested in home tutoring, you just want that extra bit of a support, then do reach out. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
So otherwise, thank you so much for joining and sharing your beautiful background and experience. Hopefully, guys, you found some value in that. Like I said, do connect and reach out with her. And of course, if there is anything specific, do send her a question or add some comments below, because not only will we either come back to you, but it will be either shared out on her LinkedIn and if not TikTok, if there's something specific, because that's how we create content. It's based upon what you guys need, not what we tell you. See? Perfect. Otherwise, let's say have a good Thursday.
Thank you so much for the invite.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
We're at the technology part.